Welcome to Winchester News Online. I'm Torrin Budd with the latest at 2. After Transport Secretary Grant Shapps' announcement last Friday, petrol stations around the UK face shortages of people continuing to panic buy, and Nija Leleva has more.
Drivers have been facing extensive wait at the queues in petrol stations after Transport Secretary Grant Shapps announced that there might be a shortage due to lack of lorry drivers. Panic buying causes many customers left with more expensive petrol or none at all.
Everybody panicked. Now we're not directly affected, but we have got to travel back to Nottingham today and we don't know if there's enough petrol in the car to get there.
Am I okay? Yeah, I think we're okay actually. Funny enough, I did pass a garage this morning and think, should I?
Average petrol prices rose from £1.35 to £1.36 in less than 2 days. Petrol Retail Association states that 50 to 90% of their members are out of petrol. However, the Transport Secretary encourages people not to panic, as there will be plenty of petrol for everyone. This is Nija Leleva, Winchester News Online.
Luckily, the staff at the stations are dealing with the increase of customers with as much efficiency as they can. Kaylee Hazelden reports.
On everyone's mind is the lack of petrol. However, the issue doesn't lie with the amounts of petrol that we have, but rather the number of qualified drivers that evenly distribute the fuel in our country.
As a result, people have started to panic buy, lining the streets in order to get petrol before it's sold out, causing congestion and overwhelming the stations despite their best efforts to keep on top of it.
At the moment we're trying to create a bit of contraflow by having people go around the car park, and then when waiting a queue, people to be then shepherded into the forecourt. We've also opened up an emergency access use for fire engines towards the rear end of the car park for the people who are genuinely shopping wants to leave can use that exit, and then for people who've got their petrol we try and shepherd them round to that exit as well, because then it goes onto the roundabout for our store anyway. I think one of the main factors is that most people don't run off of a full tank, so the issue is that people who are usually used to topping up £10 or £20 here and there have sort of had it in their minds to sort of get that £10 or £20 or as much fuel as they can, as best they can at any time. For the most part, customers are quite patient. There are some who are a bit cheeky, but they're the very minority. It's to do generally in the early mornings. You'll get people wanting to go to work. Midday you'll get tradesmen and people who are commuting to come and get fuel. And then you'll have a bit of a lull between about 1 and 3, which is then when the schools close or let out the children. You'll have the parents coming to get the shopping and then hopefully get some fuel. And that'll continue until about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then from 6 o'clock onwards it might die down a bit, but then you hit the commuter run then. It's like people who are commuting tend to come back and try and get fuel on their way home after work. I think our forecourt's open till about 10 o'clock. We'll probably be busy till at least 8 o'clock.
I'm Kaylee Hazelden, Winchester News Online.
Enough with traffic on the roads. Let's talk about campus traffic. The new university year has brought upon the return of freshers' flu. Tom Hooker reports about how this year it's more prevalent than ever. But first, Jen Howard has another story on another cough, COVID.
At the University of Winchester, students are returning to on-campus learning. Whilst most universities across the country continue with blended learning, with both online and in-person lectures, University of Winchester is completely in person. We question whether they can keep COVID safe and how students feel about being back in person.
So I find it much easier to engage with in-person learning, because last year it was just a little bit difficult to keep a routine and stuff.
I was a bit wary at first because I didn't know what it was going to be like actually on campus, but it's really safe. It's just really nice to actually be back.
Yeah, I prefer it, to be honest with you. Last year when it was all online was a bit weird, and I didn't feel you were able to interact with it as well. So being back in person I think is better for my education.
Well, I feel very safe on campus at the moment. I feel like there have been a lot of provisions made for it. And yeah, I think the teachers have adjusted really well.
I prefer to do in-person teaching. COVID doesn't really bother me at all.
I much prefer it now. It's really nice to have met everyone on the course.
So with happy students comes health and safety advice from their student union. We spoke to the president of Winchester Student Union to get her perspective on students coming back to normal uni life.
So how do you feel about students being back on campus this semester?
I'm actually really excited about it. It's really nice to walk through campus and there be students there. Having worked over summer, I spent literally 2 months on campus with it being absolutely empty. And now whenever I walk across campus, it's like filled with students. I always have to say hi to people on the way around. Our students at Winchester are so, they're very community focused and they're very focused on protecting each other. So I think students are definitely trying their best to keep COVID safe. I think, especially in Winchester, there was an appetite to come straight back to in-person as much as possible. And I think the university's done a really good job of actually listening to students and listening to what they want. And the other thing is they're very aware that there are going to be those students that are a bit nervous, and there are going to be those students that maybe aren't so willing to come back to face-to-face. And I know the university is already putting things in place so that they can support.
But it's not just a COVID cough that's been going round, as Freshers Flu made its return to campus this year. I talked to some students to get their thoughts.
I got ill, a bit ill. Then my flatmates, they got ill.
Bye.
Bye. I had COVID just before I came here, so my risk of getting COVID should technically be lower, but I still got very ill.
I think most of us, obviously with first years, we've gone through college with like blended learning, stuff like that. So it's actually really refreshing to come back with just everyone available and being able to just go in and not have to sit behind a laptop at home, but it's great. Yeah, I like it.
Well, I'm double vaxxed, so I'm not too worried about getting any really bad symptoms. And as long as everyone's doing the lateral flow test every week, I think it should be fine.
We also spoke to the Environmental and Sustainability Manager, Anna Wise.
It's been really exciting seeing students come back. I was on a stall doing travel and transport advice for Arrivals Week, so for 5 days, and then did Freshers Fair. So it was a complete contrast to the preceding 9 months, having not met any students, to them being pretty close contact with everybody.
I mean, Freshers Flu is always a thing that gets students every single year, no matter what the university do. I think coming out of COVID, it was always going to be worse. But I mean, encouraging people to wear masks and social distance where appropriate. And they've also got those yellow lanyards, I don't know if you've seen them around, that encourage social distancing. I think things like that have helped kind of mitigate the difficulties that can come with Freshers Flu. But I mean, we were always going to be hit hard by Freshers Flu, whatever happens.
It will be interesting to see how COVID and flu both develop in the coming months. Tom Hooker, Winchester.
Environmental issues have never been so important. Our reporter Alistair English looks at how Winchester is facing up to the challenge of climate change.
Recycling rates in Hampshire are the worst in the country. Climate protesters have increased over the past few years, the most recent being Insulate Britain, who have blocked off parts of the M25. Experts say recycling is very important to combat the effects of climate change and reduces the extraction of fossil fuels. Winchester recycling rates have increased since 2018, where each person recycled 34% of their rubbish. In 2021, each person now recycles 42% of their rubbish, which is an increase in 8%. Over lockdown 2020, recycling rates of glass actually increased as well.
Hampshire News Roundup with our reporter Ben Morris.
Figures show that Winchester Prison has handed out over 300 punishments, including cell confinements, in the space of 3 months. This has been done during the COVID pandemic to reduce the amount of hearings when rules have been broken. A teenager from Owlsbury has raised nearly £2,000 for Dementia UK. The 16-year-old ran 18 laps of the 5.1 kilometre course at St Catherine's Hill in honour of his grandfather, who is currently suffering with the disease. Winchester MP Steve Bryan has been enrolled in a scheme which allows MPs to have an insight into what a military lifestyle is really like. And finally, students at the university are back on campus this month, with face-to-face teaching returning after the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thanks, Ben. Over the weekend, participants were sure to not get cold feet at Trinity Winchester's fundraiser. Hagen reports.
People walked 15 feet across hot coals to raise money for Trinity Winchester.
So far, the event has raised around £4,000 for the charity.
I was trying to look for new and exciting ways to engage people in fundraising, you know, something a little bit different because everyone could do a skydive. So yeah, I wanted to add a bit more with a bit more, you know, excitement, walking on fire. Maybe we'll try one of their other challenges as well, which is walking on Lego.
Trinity Winchester works to support homeless and other vulnerable people through different services, including helping them meet their most basic needs and providing emotional support and housing. The money raised through events and donations makes up a big part of the charity's income, and it's important for them to be able to provide these services. At the start of the pandemic, Trinity had to close their doors but continued to help people.
As the government made their Everybody In campaign, Winchester City Council provided emergency accommodation through hostels and hotels, and Trinity became the service that provided meals to each and every one of those people. At one point we were providing 300 meals a day across all the services in Winchester.
Participants had to raise £100 for the charity to be able to take on the challenge. Before stepping onto the hot coals themselves, they received training from Guinness World Record holder for longest firewalk, Scott Bell.
Oh, it's fantastic. So being the first one as well, it was incredible. It was very important for us as a company. It's part of our beliefs in the company. So we were really keen to support the charity.
People at the firewalk handled the heat to help others get a break from the cold as we go into the chillier months. Hege Hagen, Winchester News Online.
Thanks, Torin. In the sport today, we look at Winchester City's start to the season ahead of today's match against Highworth Town in the Division 1 South League. The Charter Community Stadium will host a highly anticipated match in an evening that will once again see sports fans up and down the country welcomed into venues after the recent disruptions caused by the COVID-19 outbreak.
Winchester City have had a mixed start to the season, to say the least, opening the campaign with a 2-2 draw at home to Bideford. Several up-and-down performances have since left supporters underwhelmed and unsure what to make of the current setup. The club find themselves in 8th position, with top scorer Simba Mlambo providing much relief for City. Player-manager Craig Davis is said to be committed to developing the club, having played at a professional level for the likes of Cardiff City in the past. Winchester appreciate his devotion and loyalty to the club. Whatever the outcome though, fans can be thankful for the return of live football this season after such a turbulent year. This evening, Winchester host Highworth Town under the lights in a bid to climb 6th in the table. And of course, we'll be here to bring you all the highlights, post-match reaction and exclusive interviews with players and staff.
So we have our sports reporters Alex and Harry here with us now. Guys, I hear you'll be at the Charters Community Stadium a fair bit over the coming season.
Yeah, to be honest, we're delighted to be involved in it. We're trying to be the exclusive coverage of Winchester City home games at least. And we're just delighted to be part of the project. I mean, the sports reporters around here are going to form such a close-knit community over the coming months. And football's not it as well. We're going to look to cover a variety of different sports up and down Hampshire, really.
Yeah, obviously we're really looking forward to it. It's such a great community with the football here. You've got obviously the local aspect of it. You know, at the end of every week, you know, you've got your fans that come locally. They come to watch the games, and it's something to do. It's great for the community, and I think as much as it will be about the result for the team, I think it's very much about the fans coming back. Obviously, they've been back for a few weeks now, but I think it is very much about the return of fans and how fans are going to move forward with the COVID restrictions, whether there will be or not. And it's just going to be really good to see everyone back in the stadium.
Additionally in sport, we look at how the University of Winchester Sports Societies settled in to being back on campus. They were keen to discuss their objectives for the upcoming season and the opportunity to make their BOP debuts.
With the long-awaited return of sports societies, students at the University of Winchester can look forward to the homecoming of normality as they look to compete in the new sports season, aiming for a successful start to the campaign after last year's disappointment and the lack of games and opportunities to bond with peers. I caught up with students Jack Charlton and Michael Eilott, who are part of the futsal and football societies, to get their opinions on the new season.
Yeah, so it's a bit different with futsal this year. There's more opportunity to use different facilities such as the sports hall and actually play proper futsal, because on the mugger it's different goals, and yeah, also you get to see everyone and there's no limitations on how many people can play. And also Bop's going to be open, so I can't wait to socialise with my new teammates and friends, and it's just going to be a laugh really this year.
I'm a member of football and futsal, so two societies combined into one. I feel like this year I am making up for lost time because no clubs or pubs were open last year, but I can't wait to get back into the action, playing every week. It'll be a lot, but yeah, looking forward to it.
So those are the thoughts of two students returning to their societies for another year, and this time around they'll have a lot more opportunities to make new friends and be able to compete against some of the top universities in the UK. The question that we're left with now is how will they fare as the season kicks off? Harry Jones, WINOL News.
We've had some sad news come through in the last couple of hours, as England World Cup winner Roger Hunt has died at the age of 83. The Liverpool legend was second in the club's all-time top-scoring charts and started the 1966 World Cup final alongside fellow greats such as Bobby Moore and Jeff Hurst. Our condolences go out to his family and loved ones.
Good afternoon, this is your entertainment breakdown for this week with me, Izzy Higgs. First up, Strictly Come Dancing made history this weekend with its first ever same-sex dance pairing. John Waite and his dance partner Johannes Radaby danced a tango, earning a standing ovation from the audience. This marks a turning point for the show, and John took to Instagram to thank everyone who made the show a success. However, there was bad news for Tom Fletcher fans, as the McFly singer and his dance partner tested positive for COVID, and their participation is in doubt. Next up, festivals are back in Hampshire, the latest being Southampton's Reclaim Festival that took place on Saturday. Our reporter Adele Bouchard was there at the event.
An array of music, art, dance and sport took over Southampton this weekend as part of a new free event, Reclaim Street Festival. Main attractions included art exhibit The Arboreal Luminarium, a handcrafted inflatable designed to capture the natural light within city centre parks, and the fall finale takeover, whose performance attracted thousands of spectators.
It's good for the city, isn't it? It's good for the city to do events like this. We've always wanted to help the city of Southampton and help put artists on, so we support artists on and
connect with the community as well. City, just grow the community, grow the love within the city for dance music.
We're all from Southampton, so we've wanted events like this to happen in Southampton for as long as we can remember, so to see stuff like this probably happening is great.
The city's Business Improvement District, Go Southampton, organised the event as a post-pandemic party that highlights Southampton's cultural and creative talent.
DJs and producers from Southampton, they're quite, some of them are quite well known worldwide, but people don't know who they are here. It's equally the same with the artists. The graffiti artists, there's two high-profile graffiti artists from Southampton, and probably two of the best in the world. You know, people don't know who they are.
Performances stretched from West Quay Esplanade, host to the BBC Music Introducing Stage, to Bedford Place, the centre of the city's dance and club music.
All the DJs are very high quality. We've got a lot of people that play at Switch. We've got a lot of people, people that play in Ibiza on a regular basis. So it's going to be a very, very good party.
Go Southampton are planning for the festival to become a yearly staple in the city's social calendar. It is hoped that the continued celebration of life and diversity will help Southampton achieve the UK City of Culture status by 2025. Adele Bouchard, Winchester News Online.
And now, here's our fashion team with the latest news on Freshers Fashion.
Eva.
What year are you in?
I'm in first year.
What brands are you wearing today?
I am wearing PLT, Bershka, H&M and Primark.
Nice. Do you think your style's changed ever since you came to uni?
I would say I've come more out of my shell. I've always had the style, but I'd say I'm definitely more confident in what I'm wearing now.
Nice, thank you. So what's your name?
It's Lily.
What year are you in?
First year.
What brands are you wearing today?
I'm literally wearing a whole Zara outfit. So my jacket's from Zara. This was £50. My top was Zara as well. That was just like $3.99. And then my joggers are Zara as well.
Do you think your style's changed since you came to university?
No, but I do think that coming to university makes you much more confident.
Yeah.
And you can kind of just be yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you. What's your name?
I'm Saf.
What year are you in?
I'm in first year.
And what brands are you wearing today?
My jeans are from All Saints, my trainers are New Balance, and my top's from Topshop, I think.
How much do you reckon it costs?
Ooh, I reckon like 200.
Do you think your styles changed as you came to university?
I don't think so, no, but it might do. It's quite early on.
Olivia, what did you think of the fashion you've seen so far at uni?
I thought it was really interesting to see the way people dress so differently. Like, it's not just the clothes, it's the way they're styled, because obviously different people will see a pair of trousers in a different way and style it in a different combination to other people.
So do you think that wearing a certain brand or colour combination can say something about you as a person?
Yeah, definitely. I think it can. You can see people's moods, interests and style in one look. I know a lot of people say like they don't analyse their outfits as much as others, but effortless look is a statement itself.
Yeah. Absolutely. And do you have a favourite outfit that we saw this week?
It's difficult to narrow it down because each one is so personal to who's wearing it. I loved what Eva was wearing. And what about you?
I loved her outfit as well. With Eva, you could tell that her fashion and style gave her a lot of confidence, and that's what fashion's amazing for.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing more outfits around campus in the next few weeks as well.
Thanks to the entertainment team there. And that's all from us for now. From the team here at Winchester News Online and myself, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.